say the other songs.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 488. It's Saturday, March 23rd, 2013, 11 a.m. Pacific Time. Internet talk radio for your imagination. Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today we hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer. Plus we bring you the segment Mike's Scavenger Hunt, where we find out about a place I went to years ago, but I'd never go to on a Saturday.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And the band My Chemical Romance has broken up. If you can't think of any of their songs, believe me, it's okay.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And as if we haven't had enough space junk flying through our skies and threatening our planet, a bright flash in the sky lit up the East Coast, and people said, damn it, it was seen from Maine to North Carolina and as far inland as Ohio. It was a boulder the size of a yard flying through the sky-o. Last month, you may recall, a meteor hit Siberia and injured 100 people.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And when Jimmy Fallon replaces Jay Leno next year, who will replace Jimmy Fallon? Seth Meyers. I'm a sheeple.
Mike's
because I'll follow Seth
Daily
anywhere. He's funny.
Podcast.
I hope he gets to keep the job.
Yeah!
When Jay Leno kicks Jimmy Fallon out and Jimmy goes to TBS, because that seems to be the way things go. Look who just walked in.
Hello, Matthew. It's Chely Shoehart, the gift shop supervisor. I'm a big fan of Seth Meyers.
Yeah, he's really funny on Saturday Night Live when he does his little news segment. He's one of the best newscasters. He has a nice bit of sarcasm that he delivers in each episode.
I like his hair. It's really cool and spiky.
Yes, but not too spiky, because then he would look like a 90s boy band and be stupid.
I wish he had tips.
Okay, look who else just walked in. Hello, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman.
And this is John Deere the engineer, Mike. It is fascinating that another meteor flew across the sky in the East Coast area.
Yeah, a lot of stories about meteors this year. That Siberia one. And then, like, the next day, I was in San Francisco, and there was a big meteor that flew across the sky that people saw. I, however, did not see it, but it was in the news and stuff. Mike, sometimes you just gotta keep your eyes peeled! Right, or just keep them closed all the time.
Mike Matthews, then you'd be like sleeping or meditating.
I'm meditating on trying to get My Chemical Romance back together.
You are, John Deere. Well, you don't have to do that because Fall Out Boy got back together.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. So all is right with the world.
I love emo.
Really? You like that kind of music?
No, the comedian Emo Phillips.
Oh, yeah. Like that joke, policeman pulled me over, woo, woo, but I shouldn't make fun of his speech impediment.
Mike Matthews, I don't get it.
Oh. Well, I'd be worried if you did. So if you like Emo Phillips or are concerned about all the meteors falling or think that Seth Meyers would be a good replacement for Jimmy Fallon, or if you just don't care about My Chemical Romance, email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. We'll read your emails on the section Emails from Email. Also, email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. Also, check out the website, mikesdailypodcast.com. That is where you can find the link to subscribe to the show in iTunes. And if you subscribe to us, please also rate this show and comment on the show in iTunes because more people find out about us and it's cool. I've actually commented on a couple of podcasts. I usually give a good rating and comment. I'm usually more positive in my reviews. So maybe that's good karma for the kind of comments I'll get on my podcast. Or not. Whatever. Good or bad, it helps the show. Also, you can check out our links to where to find us in Facebook and Twitter and Yelp and in the YouTube universes. And also you can find our blog and find the daily podcast picture all at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Mike's Scavenger Hunt.
This is where I tell you about a place and you try and find it. An interesting place that I have been to. An interesting place that I've been to is a restaurant. No, but that's what they've been talking about in the news lately. I guess Hooters has some competition from other restaurants. One is called Cans, another Twin Peaks, and the Tilted Kilt. I guess they're all competing to get the same bald, overweight guys that like to go in and eat really bad high caloric and fat foods, while young women that are in need of cash and enjoy watching bald, overweight guys getting closer to that inevitable coronary. Boy, I paint a fun picture. Sounds like a really fun place to go to. But apparently these are popping up, so to speak, all over the place. My thing is, if you're going to go to a place like that, why don't you just go to a strip club? I mean, why are you just being half-ass about it? Just go. They serve the same crappy food. You're going to pay probably the same amount. Restaurants do not come cheap. By the way, I got all this news about restaurants off of ABC News. They're so informative. ABC News did a story about that. I can't imagine Peter Jennings introing a story like that. I don't know. Maybe he did in the early 80s and I just missed it. But no, today's Mike Scavenger Hunt is a place that I went to years ago when I was young boy with my mom. She discovered this place just north of Santa Cruz, and I want to call the place right now.
Hello, thank you for calling the Mystery Spot. How can I help you?
Hi, what are your hours today?
Today we're going to be open up from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Last year leaves at 5 o'clock today. I suggest you make a reservation to see the Mystery Spot because we're going to be very busy.
Oh, I'll be busy today? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I was there in the late 70s.
Oh, yeah?
Have you guys added much since then?
I think it's still the same tour.
The same? Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And is your place did Knott's Berry Farm try and copy you guys?
I think so. I've heard that before.
But it's not the same because you guys are the natural thing.
Yes, sir.
Trees. Okay, cool. And you're open till 5 today?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
There he goes. I would never go there on a Saturday. There's so many people. In fact, they say on their website, if it says full, don't even stop. Just keep going. Because if you stop, I guess it's a small road that goes there. It's up in the mountains. It's up in the hills. What is it exactly? It's a tourist attraction discovered in 1939, opened in 1940. It's a small site, about 150 feet in diameter. It is a place where the laws of physics and gravity do not apply, they say, the operators there. And it provides a number of demonstrations in support of these claims, where water seems to flow uphill. People seem to be standing in slanted positions. I remember I was shorter than my mom, and you stand on either end of this straight, board. She's on one end, you're on the other. And I was actually taller than her, it seemed. And then we switched positions, and she was taller than me. It's a gravity hill. It's a tilt-induced visual illusion. The illusion experienced by visitors results from the oddly tilted environment as well as standing on a tilted floor. Inside the tilted room of the mystery spot, misperceptions of the height and orientation of objects occur. Even when people are standing outside on a level ground, the slant of the building in the background causes misperceptions as people are trying to judge the height of other people using the slant of the roof rather than the true horizon. And Knott's Berry Farm had created a fake version of it, making a house on a slant. They called it the Haunted Shack, and they did a lot of the same stuff that's done here at the Mystery Spot. Probably the most famous thing about the Mystery Spot is the yellow bumper sticker that people all over California have on their cars, or outside of California even. You see them driving around on their bumpers. This yellowish bumper sticker says Mystery Spot on it. And a lot of people get this confused with the Winchester Mystery House, which is very different. But it's not actually that far away from the Mystery Spot. Probably, less than an hour, because it's in San Jose, just north of this area, north of Santa Cruz. So you just keep going. You can go from Santa Cruz to the Mystery Spot, then up to the Winchester Mystery House, which I also went to at the same time when I was a kid. My mom and I were kind of on a tourist trap trip when I was a kid. And the Winchester Mystery House, the short story of that is the widow of the guy who made the Winchester rifle. She was afraid that all the people that got shot and killed by the weapon would come back to haunt her. So she made her house really, really big with all kinds of rooms and hallways that don't go anywhere and doors that open up to just brick walls, and all kinds of strange things are in this house. And She was told by the spirits or somebody that as long as she kept building and adding on to the house, then she would not be hurt. This all started after a big earthquake that hit the area, and it freaked her out. That's a really cool tour to go on. However, it costs actually a lot of money to go on the tour now of the Winchester Mystery House. But it's cool to do at least once. But don't go on a Saturday, because it's also mega busy on Saturdays. Do something else on a Saturday, like I'm doing. Podcast, for example. Or walk your dog, which I will do after the podcast. As we go outside the last place on earth, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Basil was happy to hear that news. Basil the boxer. He is not in today's podcast picture. However, I am not either. But I guess I am sort of implied in the picture because I took the picture. And it's in a restaurant called the Mellow Mushroom. It's a franchise throughout the South. In fact, where I lived in Huntsville, Alabama, they just got a Mellow Mushroom just as I was about to leave there in 2009. But this Mellow Mushroom is in Atlanta, Georgia, near the Coca-Cola plant, which I hear Coke is going to be laying off a bunch of people. But this is a really interesting looking restaurant because you walk in and you look up and there's all these mushrooms, huge artistic mushrooms hanging from the ceiling. And there's a lot of TV screens, and you can buy all kinds of different beers there, and of course you can have pizza. So this was an interesting, I like the way this restaurant was set up with the high ceilings and lots of glass. And that's right there in the heart of downtown Atlanta, near where they had the Olympics. So there you go, another landmark to check out in this great world of fantastic tourist traps. You can see the picture at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Mike Matthews, Seth Meyers, I don't think he's ever going to get old.
Yeah, he's got one of those faces that doesn't age. He's already been on Saturday Night Live a long time, and he just looks exactly the same as when he first started.
So is Seth Meyers replaces Jimmy Fallon? Who replaces Seth Meyers on the Saturday Night Live show?
That is a good question, because I don't think anybody on that show right now could do the news as good as Seth. Maybe Seth shouldn't take over. I heard that Tina Fey could possibly take over for Jimmy Fallon, but she said no, she's too busy. Mike, I'd be happy to take over for Seth on Saturday Night Live. I could deliver strange news like this. The Pope and the old Pope met for lunch. Because I'm Floyd the Floorman. Okay, see, now that's not a punchline. Why do I need a punchline? I guess that question could pertain to this entire podcast. If you want a punchline, listen to the podcast 4 comedians talking shit about women.
Mike Matthews, why would I listen to that? I'd rather have a meteor fall on my head. Or have Jay Leno fall on my head. Or have My Chemical Romance get back together.
Chely, really, they're such a wonderful band.
Name me one of their songs.
Welcome to the Black Parade.
You had to Google that.
Maybe.
Tomorrow we'll bring you the segment News Random. Plus we'll hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster.
I wish you had tips.
Frosted tips?
Yes, Mike Matthews.
I'm so happy my follicles closed down before that hairstyle took over.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!